Hey everyone, it's Andrea here from King of Automation, and today I want to talk about AI agents and the way that they can completely change how you interact with Notion. For those of you that are familiar with Notion, it's a platform that's fully customizable and that can usually work as a second brain system for your personal life, your business, or both. And if you are familiar with Notion, then you definitely at some point in your life got to see how hard it is to set Notion up as a beginner, especially whenever you just got started. There's trade-off that comes with customization features, which is ease of adoption. This is a problem that's common to everyone, and lately, Notion came up with Notion AI to help user get acquainted with the interface and build the database and systems more efficiently and with less headaches. Nonetheless, there's a very active community using Notion. I feel like most users would just love to get started as quickly as possible since they'll be using Notion to make their business more efficient or their life more efficient, and they definitely do not want to waste time figuring out how things work. The problem about Notion AI, which is the native AI that Notion is offering, beside the fact that it's a bit pricey, I think it's $24 per month, something like that, it doesn't really do much. It can generate databases, but it's a one-shot prompt thing. So if you basically do not get the prompt right and your database is not looking exactly the way that you was expecting, you have to start over. You cannot make edits around the way. You can retrieve knowledge, but it's slow. It's not really ideal. I recommend you to try and use it, and you will see by yourself what I'm talking about. So just as me and many other people, we've been trying to figure out a way to overcome this issue. And clearly, it's not an option to just ask Notion to improve their AI. They have their own roadmap, and they probably don't care. So during like my researches, I came up and figured out there was an existing, or well, an almost existing solution back at the time, which now is real. It's an actual product, which is Notis AI. And I met with the founder, Flo, a month ago when the product was in beta. And I had the chance to partner in the development of this product with him by providing iterative feedback and real case studies in which Notis could have shined as a product integrated directly with Notion. So what is Notis? Notis is an AI agent that directly integrates with Notion and has a bunch of functionalities, multimodal capabilities. We can see some of them here: transcription, automatic sync, image supports, multilingual. It can write documents, it can find answers anywhere they are. As long as there's data inside your Notion, then Notis will find it. And you can automate tasks. Just think of an AI agent that you can conversate with in your language that supports WhatsApp, Telegram as an interface. So you don't need to adopt any kind of difficult backend. No, you just simply send text vocal and it will follow up with actions inside Notion. It's almost like a personal or business assistant, depending on the use case that you want to deploy it for. I personally use it for both, and it's absolutely great. So when I met with Flo, we both knew that this product was going to be extremely useful because in first place, we were looking for a solution that was not available on the market. Notion AI was not really providing the kind of customization and functionalities that would have been considered helpful for, having a second brain system that can be worth of being called such. And he asked me to find real case studies about this product and how we can make it useful for other businesses, regardless of the industry that they are in. And I came up with a few ideas that I'm going to show you next that I'm also deploying for my own company. Before that, if you're wondering how to access Notis, I will put the link in bio here on the bottom of the video, and you can see above here. There we go. Right now, it's running for a monthly plan, but there is still yearly plan discount. So if I was you, I would take advantage of this while it's lasting, because for the price that this is going for, it's an absolute steal. But let's jump right into it. I want you to judge by yourself what are the capabilities of this product. Have you ever struggled to find a reliable way to track the time you spend on working without disrupting your workflow? If the answer is yes, then I might have the solution for you. I've been looking for multiple ways to do this, and I couldn't just find a tool that was matching my expectation and having all the features I needed, especially because it required me too much manual input, and that was just getting my focus away from work. And first of all, why would you do this? This is because you want to be accountable for what you put your working hours on. Are they really moving the needles? Are they really bringing ROI to your business? Or maybe you want to track your employees or your contractors hours for billing. There's a multitude of reasons why you would like to track working hours. In my personal case, I do it for myself because I like to be aware of where I'm spending my hours and how I'm allocating the time slots during my day so that I can review it on a weekly basis and try to improve my productivity. So let's get right into it. I built a Notion database, which is, by the way, my second brain system, where I can easily input time entries, time tracking, right? It's quite simple. You just have the name, you have the clients, you have start time, end time, projects, and that's pretty much it. You also have another view where you can easily sum all of these with a formula, and then it will show you how long you've been worked in a given day. But we don't want to enter all this data manually, right? That's not the purpose of it. So that's why we have this AI agent. This AI agent is connected to Telegram. That's the interface we're using. It could also be WhatsApp. I personally prefer Telegram. And how does this work? Well, I'll show you a live example. I'm gonna open Telegram from my mobile, and I'm gonna send a vocal message because it supports both vocal messages and text messages. This is completely up to you, whatever you prefer as a form of interaction. Just think of it as your assistant. It has a chat record where you can see all the conversation that you had with your assistant, and it replies here on Telegram. So that really makes it an almost human experience, like as if this was your employee. So let's try with this. Hey, could you please start a timer for recording a YouTube video on AI agent integrated with Notion for King of Automation? So as you can see, I sent the vocal. All I had to do was specifying the name of the task that I'm working on and the client, in this case, King of Automation, my company. And now you can see an emoji here, a reaction. That means that it got our message, and it will probably take between 1 and 2 minutes, depending on the complexity of the task, to receive a reply. It's going to automatically create an entry in our database and map every property that we need according to our information. And if we didn't specifically provide some information about certain properties, it will try its best and deduct it, just like a person would do in the same situation. And this is so useful, especially when you have database items with multiple properties. Sometimes they are also text properties, which are quite lengthy, and you don't really want to spend your time always mapping out entries on Notion. So this is literally a lifesaver, and this is not something that you can simply do with the native Notion AI. So let's give it a moment and see when it's ready. It should provide us a message with a link so that we can easily check if the entry is right. Otherwise, you can also reply by prompting a fix, but typically it's not needed. It's quite intelligent. It's powered by the latest AI models, 4.1, I think. And it also has a reasoner model inbuilt for deciding which tools to call. So it's really an AI agent. Let's see, no active timer was found, so I started one for you. Perfect. So let's check it. There we go. So we have the client, we have the project name, session date, end time, and start time, and the duration, which is automatically calculated, so 0.25 hours. And in our table view, we can see that this is adding up to our total. As simple as that. This is just one basic use case we can do with Notion integrated AI agent, but I'll show you another one next that's even more interesting. Think about how annoying and time-consuming writing SOPs for your business can be. Is that one thing that no one wants to do, but everyone has to do if they want to own a business that's scalable, sellable, and just to stay on top of their structure and be organized, right? So I write a lot of SOPs myself, sometimes even for my clients, because in order to automate, you need to have clear SOPs in place, because SOPs equal data, and data is the source for all kind of automations, but also it's the input that you provide to people to delegate your business. So it's an essential asset for any organization. And I've been researching for quite a bit of time the best way to draft SOPs. And I came up with this system, which I think is very efficient. So let's start with a Loom video, which for many is already a pretty good starting point in order to get SOPs done. You just want to record yourself while you are explaining and showcasing the process of your business. And then Loom allows you to create SOPs. There's an inbuilt functionality here that I'm going to show you, like generate a document, and then we have SOPs, right? The problem with these is that it's not really a comprehensive document. It's just following the order of the video. And sometimes you just want to have the flexibility of brainstorming. You don't want to necessarily produce a perfect video just at the first attempt, right? And on top of that, we have to copy these, then we have to likely import it somewhere else. It's just not ideal, especially because it's likely that we want all of our SOPs to be organized in a certain way. And specifically, it can also be essential to have them in a database. That could be your second brain, your single source of truth, however you want to call it. That's going to be also data for AI agents, AI automations, and anything that you would like to build on top of that later on. So how can we achieve this? Well, we have these Chrome extensions that's called Save Notion, and it allows to save into Notion any web page. So we have this form here called bookmarks, and all we are going to do is select the category, just basically mapping a property into Notion. And we're going to do content creation because this video is about Hey Jen. And areas are pre-mapped. Tags, we can simply select Hey Jen. There we go. And then we have the name, bookmark, Loom transcript. So we created this property for the Loom transcript. So all we need to do is copying the transcript with a simple click. There we go. And then paste it. Sorry, it closed my entry. I'm going to have to do it again. My bad. Not a big deal. Okay. And Loom transcript, we're just going to copy and paste it. Okay. Then save page into bookmarks. Let's check our Notion database. Should be in our bookmark section. Content creation. Okay, there we go. Exploring HeyGen for content creation. We have mapped this property, and then we have the link of the Loom video right here. So what we're going to do next is just message our AI agent, which is integrated with Notion on Telegram. And we can do it by sending a vocal message again or a text message. And all we're going to say is just about something you would tell your assistant in order to get this done. So, hey, could you please create a SOP document about the latest Loom video on HeyGen that I have added to Notion? This is going to take a minute for it to be processed, and what's going to happen is likely it's going to create an SOP document with the guidelines that we have provided, because we can add instruction in the database itself, or here within the chat we can tell the agent, from now on I want you to write SOP documents in this way. And in our case, we have created a template, for example this one, SOP template, and it basically explains how we want SOPs to be created. And then our AI agent is going to follow this template to create all the further SOPs that we provide in. So let's check. I've located the latest Loom. Perfect. Based on its transcript, I've drafted a SOP document. Fantastic. Let's check it out. Using HeyGen for content creation. So it mapped the document type, the category. It created a related property with our bookmark. Perfect. For description, tags to easily identify it. And then we have our SOP. This is all being generated by Notion according to the transcript, which has been analyzed by Notion AI. Notis AI, which is GPT 4.1 and the reasoner model behind it. And I think it's pretty neat. It's much better than the one that Loom generated because it actually takes all the context from the transcript together and it breaks it down in a way that makes sense. So even if your explanation was not perfect, it will make it clear for you. And this would have taken me probably an hour to pull this together, but it took barely 2 minutes, probably less, right? So you don't have an excuse not to write down SOPs anymore. Now let's talk about a topic that will likely resonate with most of you, content ideas. So many times we find like having these brainstorming moments where we come up with these fantastic content ideas that never make it to life because we are either too busy to write them down, or else once we write them down, they end up forgotten and we actually do not turn them into a meaningful piece of content that can bring value out there that people can see and interact with. And this is such a pity because I'm sure that most people have these aha moments, and I came up with a system to turn these ideas into content, into concrete results. So let's start by checking out this database on Notion, which it's just a collection of our ideas. But we are not here to write these things down manually ourselves, so we rely on our Notion integrated AI agent. Notice, here we go. And to do this, we are just going to send it a vocal message because we might just be busy. Maybe we are driving, we are doing something else. We are in a moment where it's not clear if we are working or not, right? Sometimes the best ideas do not come while you are in deep focus sessions. It could really be any time, right? So I'll grab my phone and I'll try to brainstorm something I had in my mind that could serve as content input. I feel like many people pay too much attention to the news and the latest AI implementations, the latest AI features. They follow the hype and they do not take enough time to test existing proven solutions that they can actually bring solid results. And most of the times, these news, these hype things, they turn out not to be ready for production. And it's actually just a lot of fluff, right? I feel like this is something that creators, especially on YouTube or online communities, take advantage of to consistently produce content for their hungry audiences. But then in reality, these are systems that are not really effective. And when you try to translate them into a backend ready automation, it doesn't work. It's just an MVP that is not scalable, that will run into issues because it's just premature. So I really do think that AI automation specialists should focus more of their time into improving existing solution. And obviously, it's good to keep up with the latest technologies, but with a critical eye, so that you don't run into this FOMO of having to implement anything that comes out by the day, losing sight of what's really important. So this was just a very random brainstorming that I had, but let's try to see if we can translate it into a content input. Sometimes you have to mention it. For example, can you please turn this into a content input? But I want to check if it's actually that smart to recognize it by itself, that this is a brainstorming session and that should be saved there. If not, it's not a big deal. We're just going to say it, please save it in our database. So let's wait a moment for it to process this. Okay, it saved it as a note, but that's not really what we wanted. My bad, I didn't specify it, but if you do, it's going to be working as fine. So let's just say, actually, I want is brainstorming transcriptive. We say into row input or inputs and map each property accordingly. You can also say this voice message, but I'm just going to show you both. Let's wait for the reply now. Okay, let's check if now, yeah, it looks fine, right? It gave a title, there's the status map, there's the content purpose, blog, LinkedIn tags, and that's our transcript. Now, with this, we can actually repurpose it into real content with our next AI agent. Before doing that, I also wanted to mention that this raw input property here is not actually the raw transcript, but it's polished, proofread, and revised version, which keeps the same content basically, but it just write it down in a more clear way that's easier for an AI model or even a human being to understand, because sometimes your brainstorming sessions might just be messy like mine. So now we have our brainstorming written down. How do we turn it into actual content? We go into this different AI agent that works with Telegram, just like Notis. But this one will actually write a blog and repurpose the content into other social medias that are suitable for this scope. And this one, it triggers with a command that's /generate, and it goes into this database here, and then it checks for the status. And if the status is published, it will not publish it again. And if the status is new, then we know that it's something in queue to be published, right? So let's test it out. So let's take a look at the results, which are stored into Airtable. I'll quickly show you the backend of this AI agent. This is actually just a small part of a super AI agent that does a bunch of things. As you can see, there's over 100 nodes in this make.com backend, but this is the part that belongs to this automation case that we are showing right now. So what it does is retrieving context and data from our Notion database. Think of it as a simplified RAG. And then it researches for market intelligence about the topic, to stay up to date, and it generates a blog content, generates a blog cover picture, then stores everything into Airtable. And then depending on the content type, it will either post it on X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or just a few of them. This is just a rule that I gave it, but you get the logic. You can literally do anything that you like. So let's take a look at it. This is our Airtable, and here we can see the content pieces with the dates of today. This is a blog post with title, Stop Chasing AI Hype, Master Proven Automation for Real Results, which it's clearly aligned with our brainstorming session, meta description, and now it saves it into HTML. You can automatically post into your WordPress, Shopify website, blog, or anything. I'm just saving it here for approval and to show you guys what you can do. So let's run into an HTML preview. And let's paste it. And here we go. As you can see, this is a complete blog post with internal links. It can support affiliate links, call to actions, literally anything that comes to your head. This one is just personalized for our website, our style, brand voice. It's fully customizable, and I think it's just extremely interesting because it cuts the amount of time needed to produce content to basically zero. Let's check the other ones. So we have Twitter thread. It's a bit messy here because it's saved into JSON, but you can probably get the idea. Here's why proven automation, not the latest type, always win, from someone who learned it the hard way. And the second part will go every week, where there's a new game-changing AI launch. Feeds explode with demos, but what after the buds? Most tools fade, leaving you with broken experiments and wasted hours. And then it just goes on, right? And we have another part of this automation that automatically fetches these pending review posts once we switch them into schedule, and they will be automatically posted into our social media accounts. We have a LinkedIn post. Yesterday's client call started with a confession. We spent 15K integrating the latest AI tool. 2 months in, we are still double checking every result by hand. That's quite funny, right? It just aligns with your brainstorming, but it turns you into a digestible piece of content that's specifically tailored for the platform that you're going to post it in. As you can see, LinkedIn follows a certain structure with a certain amount of words, and that's it. You can also check out Facebook. If we go into approvals, I might be able to show you the media attachments. Yeah, so this would be the blog post cover, which follows certain colors that we decided for the color palette. And then maybe there's a Facebook post here. Myth, new, equal, better, fact, proven, scalable. This one is a certain type of graphic that we generated with GPT Image 1, which is the latest image model, and that follows the logic of the whole thing. So to recap, the full system will basically look like you send a vocal message with your brainstorming session while you are under the shower or while you're driving. No, actually not while you're driving. That's not suggested, right? But so how does the full system look like? You just send a brainstorming audio to your Notis AI agent that will store it into Notion content input database. And then you send a command to your other AI agent, and that will generate blog posts, Twitter threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram carousels, anything that you want to post. And it can automatically post it to your website, or you can store it into an Airtable for approval. And once you switch it into approved, you can have the same system look into it every 15 minutes or at intervals, and then post it. That's it. So now you know how to turn brainstorming ideas into solutions and content. So if you think this system would be valuable to you, just let me know and I can help you implement it and set all of these up for you. Now, imagine this case in which you want to track your transactions and all your finances in one place. And so you set up a database, in this case, in Notion, a finance database, where we can see that there are transactions categorized by type, category, billing frequency, payment method, and a bunch of other parameters. Maybe you also want to store and calculate all kind of metrics, KPIs, or maybe you want someone to calculate this for you. And if you are a solopreneur, or if you are even a team in a large organization, you might have to deal with a lot of data, especially for bigger companies that could have hundreds of thousands of transactions recorded. And in a given time, you want to pull a certain value, a certain metric, and you just don't want to go through and filter, sort, and just try to find it. That's going to be time-consuming and tedious process. So what I came up with is this system. With the Notion AI integrated agent, we are able to just communicate in plain English and retrieve the information we want. So let's go back into Telegram and let's try to ask something like this. Can you tell me how much we spent in utilities in April and then tell me our profit margin percentage in the same month, but do not output the revenue, just the percentage profit margin. This is like talking to an employee of your company, but it's actually an AI agent interacting via Telegram, WhatsApp, or any interface that you would like it to be. Now let's wait for the response. And we just got a reply. Utilities, this is the sum of the utilities. By the way, as you can see, we are talking about this specific payment category here. And what it did, it just made the sum of all the transaction belonging to that category. And then to calculate the profit margin, it just took the revenue minus the utility and then divided by the revenue times 100. You can apply this same concept to any kind of metric or value that you need, which is pretty powerful if you ask me, because this could save a lot of time depending on your use case. And it works for both business transaction and personal transaction. So if you want to track your personal finances, you can do that. If you want to track your business revenues, that's also a great use case. If you're wondering how to keep track of all these transactions, there's an integration with Lunch Money that we developed, and that allows you through a secure connection with Plaid to import all your transactions from bank accounts, credit cards, debit cards. You select which ones you want to link to the system, and then you set rules for categorization, and then you basically get all these transactions to be fetched on a regular basis or on demand, that's up to you, and imported into your CRM. So that's it. If you like this system, then we can help you, and I'll be happy to implement this for you. If you watched this video till the end, I hope it delivered you some value and made clarity on what are the capabilities of AI agents at the current state with CRMs integrations, specifically Notion. I'll keep building with Notis AI, and any other interesting use case, I'll make a video about it, let you guys know. If you find other use cases, please drop them in the comments. I'm curious to see what you come up with, and happy building.